6 plus 6.
You want me to say 12?
It's 11, bitch. We don't fuck with 12. Fuck. Yeah, that way.
Which way?
The wing and body cam video. Only see all.
And on this podcast, we're gonna be talking to some people that's been on both sides. Whether you actually been locked up, whether you came home, or whether you know somebody, or you was a mother or a brother or a sister of somebody who's hurt in the street. And we just want to give it to you, raw and uncut. So, you get a different perspective from both sides. Molly, and we hear, they speaking the voices of the underworld, ex-felons.
This call is from a DRC correctional facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Utilization of an unapproved application and three-way calls to communicate are strictly prohibited and a violation of DRC policy. Thank you for using GTL.
Thank you for using GTL.
No.
Help. This call is from a DRC correctional facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Utilization of an unapproved application and three-way calls to communicate are strictly prohibited and a violation of DRC policy. Thank you for using GTL.
Thank you for using GTL.
To those listening, this is the Streetz Podcast, Voices of the Underworld, and I'm your host, Brandon Green. And what's been in the making for some time now is finally here. And we plan to take you on a journey that, one can't explain is the streets. And when you talk about the streets, we all, as it's coming up, we think about the glitz and the glamour, but what about the part, the late night phone call to your mom or the call somebody was killed? And we plan to highlight all that. And to our listeners, we're glad that you're here with us, and hopefully you enjoy this journey that we're going to take you on. And like I said, I'm your host, Brandon Green, and this is the Streetz Podcast, Voices of the Underworld. Today, I'm speaking with someone who is known through the city of Akron as a founder of Nonstop Growth, founded in 2023. He is a father, grandfather, businessman, and entrepreneur, designated by the mayor of Akron as a credible messenger, having a significant impact on reducing recidivism through this program born from his own experience of incarceration. I'd like to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Marcel McDaniel.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, man, how you doing, man? It's a pleasure to have you, man.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, well, to the listeners may not know, but you and I met a long time ago, and today I'm fortunate enough to have you as my first guest on my podcast.
Oh, man, that's an honor, man. Me and you go back, so far, man. And, like I said, man, we did a lot of building from day one, and it's always been consistent, you know what I mean? So, any way I can participate and help uplift whatever you got going on, man, I'm always down for it.
Well, that's an honor as well. So I have a few questions, and time will go by quickly, but if you can share as much as you can, as quickly as you can, myself and our listeners will be grateful. So here we go. You partner with MBHB Minority Health Group for mental health, counseling, Chase Financial Literacy, and the Akron Urban League Workforce Development, to name a few. Why does Nonstop Growth find that these particular partnerships are important to help reduce recidivism?
Well, what it does is it really, it's like how the Golden State Warriors did when they was making their run, right? You try to find the best at what they do because, I'm just one person. I can't do everything. So if you come and you say, man, I just came home, bro, I need a job, okay, well, look, man, call my people at the Urban League or call my dude, Kevin Barnett at Open M, because I know they good at what they do. Man, a dude might come home, he dealing with, the effects of the time and, having little mental issues or whatnot, adjusting. Man, bro, look, hey, call Dr. Curtis Williams over at Minority Behavioral Health Group. He gonna get you together, you know what I mean? And so it's just really like putting an all-star team together so you getting the best, you know what I mean? Because I gotta understand my limitations also, so what I do is I just connect them with the best. So, you just in a better position, and just likewise, there's certain situations where these people reach out to me because they may encounter a situation that, it more fit in line with my expertise. So my whole thing is, man, I just want to give brothers, put them in the best position I can, man, to, to make the successful transition.
Okay, and how did you go about seeking strategic partners in business, your past and current business endeavors?
Well, I started learning business while I was in the joint, when I started writing books and, stuff like that, because I wanted to learn, learn it on, on my own and kind of, get that business mindset on my own. And so when I came home, the first partnership I made was with Chase Bank because the brother Ace Epps, who's the community relations manager, I knew him from, back in the day. And so I said, well, the name Chase, I saw what they was doing with LeBron. I said, look, man, hey, financial literacy, man, I need that. That's an important component. And so partnering with Chase, it made it easier for me to form partnerships with other institutions because it really legitimized my organization.
Okay, well said. And what would you share is a rule and that applies in both the boardroom and in the streets?
I mean, no permanent enemies and no permanent friends.
Okay. No permanent enemies, no permanent friends.
No permanence, man. Hey, because like I said, man, things can be fluid. You know what I'm saying? And so, you always want to stay open because sometimes the timing ain't right. Sometimes the timing ain't right for you to make a certain partnership. So you don't want to be rigid and say, well, man, I just never partner with this person or this institution because things may come around and it's beneficial. But if you'd have made them a permanent enemy, then, it's kind of like now you miss out on an opportunity. And likewise, some relationships and partnerships run their course. So if you'd have made them a permanent friend, you don't know when to let go, when it may be feasible for you to let go.
Okay, so with the fact that you've been home and you seem to have some early success, how do you see situations that they may look promising, but for real they really not? Like, how do you know how to decipher the truth?
Well, I've been really, I done got good, because I had to learn a whole different world. I had to learn, but a lot of the lessons I knew from the world I was in before, they did transfer, but it was just now you got to learn who the players are, who the power pieces are in this new world. And you also got to learn the language. It's like cultural competency for the corporate culture. I had to learn that, certain things, like every time I would be at an event, everybody giving business cards, this and that. And, I would be reaching out to these people immediately. And then my dude had to tell me, say, man, look, that's just what they do at events like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just customary. So every time a person give you a business card, that don't mean they serious about collaboration. But that was like that language I had to learn in this world. And so, like I say, anything with repetition and experience, more events I'm in, I'm learning it. I had to learn that, and I'm just a little better at it. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it still come down to energy. That's why I like the initial meeting to be face to face. I don't like the initial meeting to be on Zoom, because the initial meeting, it gives me a better opportunity to read your energy, and that kind of let me know, okay, if this person is somebody that I want to, go into some type of partnership with.
Okay. When you we also early on in the beginning we spoke on mental health, and where do you stand personally with that? Like, your transition and coming out, how do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, me personally, like I said, I came home, you do a stretch, you're gonna have some things you're gonna have to shake up off you, you know what I mean? But one of the things when I was in there, I was always in real time looking at the effects of doing the time, and I kind of kept myself in check a lot. So when I got out here, when you're doing the self-work in there, it make the transition a lot easier. So when I got out here, it was an easier transition. It was some bumps or what on the road, but it wasn't nothing that kind of like threw my alignment off. And, I saw out here also that there is somewhat of a mental health crisis out here. People dealing with different things. And, like I said, because I already was doing that type of self-work when I was in prison, it made it easier for me to transition to what it is out here. And so that's why I always, I pushed at the brothers, man, it ain't nothing wrong, man, with saying like, look, man, I'm going through something. I mean, our community, like I said, man, you got people going to the liquor store 3 times a day, but they telling you they don't need no mental health therapy. But what it's obvious that you do, because you using alcohol and drugs or whatnot to cope. So, and nothing else, we dealing with a crazy system. You know what I'm saying? So, even if you say, hey man, ain't nothing wrong with me, man, brother, when you dealing with, you dealing with a bunch of crazy people, it'll make you have to adjust who you are. This American system for black people been crazy, man. So, we do need to sometimes sit down and just talk and have a real conversation with another brother sometime.
Right, that's understandable. I feel that. So how much time did you serve?
19 years.
19 years. So, of course, I know it was a lot of ups and downs, successes, failures along the way. But at what point would you say you got on the track to, I would say, deprogram to get ready, for the streets? What was next?
I think it was when I went to Lucasville in 2005 that I started doing a real deep dig into myself, because just being in that atmosphere and seeing, just really seeing like staring into the abyss. It was like, man, hold up, man, how did I even get to this point in my life? And so then that's when I started doing the deep dig. And I started turning the corner and starts, okay, let me get prepared for when I get back out there. Because I think the first 3 years I was still looking in the rear view. And then after that, I started looking ahead.
Okay. That's, what advice would you give to individuals who are trying to escape a life of crime?
I mean, get in touch with who you are. Find out who you are. Because a lot of times when you get in the streets, you start playing a role. And if you start early enough, who you are never even got a chance to develop, because you were mimicking somebody else. And, you gotta dig deep into who you are, because it's like, man, you gotta fall in love with yourself again. And once you fall in love with yourself, you will value yourself. And then when you value yourself, you won't put yourself in situations where they can put you in a cage.
And that's deep, right? So, of course, to our listeners, I'm still in the system. Currently, I'm in Lebanon Correctional Institution, which is, by statistics, they say it's one of the roughest prisons, you could be in as far as within Ohio. And the mentality, which I want to touch on, like I know you have a lot of dealings with the younger guys, don't you?
Right.
And like, how do you connect? Like, what is it about you that makes them connect? Like, they connect to you?
I mean, I think they really connect because of my background, and it's a feel they get. They can just tell like that I'm different. I remember went to Indian River, and
You have
I had
1 minute remaining.
Okay.
I went to Indian River, and the kid walked up to the table. He said, "Man, well, I ain't getting no job." I said, "Hold up, bro. I ain't here to tell you to get no job." And he immediately keyed in because he didn't think I would say that. He thought I would. I'm like, no. I said, whatever you do, you're gonna need to know what to do with your money. So check some of this literature about Chase Bank. You know what I mean? So,
well, to our listeners, I mean to cut you off. To our listeners, we'll be a short pause, but we'll be right back with you momentarily.
Okay.
Thank you for using GTL.
And is subject to monitoring and recording. Utilization of an unapproved application and three-way calls to communicate are strictly prohibited and a violation of DRC policy. Thank you for using GTL.
Thank you for using GTL.
Okay, so going back to the you say you were in Indian River speaking to a young dude. Well, to our listeners, as you can see so far, we just touching on a few different aspects to, how when he came home, how it was. Of course, as you can, you listen, he's in the community, did 19 years, and now he's home, trying to, making an honest way for himself. And I think, when you think of them streets, we need to see that representation too, because, we really don't get to see that. That it is, if you didn't, it's only two ways that we can see, which is, jail or death. But in some cases, jail, it is the blessing because, you got another chance. Okay, bro, you there?
Yep.
Okay, no, I was, before you came back in, I was just speaking on, your interaction in Indian River with the young fella, talking about his financially.
Well, but I have it'd be a situation where, like I said, man, a lot of the young dudes, like they used to. I just talk to them in a real way, man. You know what I mean? And my thing is always like, look, man, I'm just trying to keep you alive long enough, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might not be there right now, but my job is to keep you alive long enough until, you figured it out. You know what I mean? And they respect that because a lot of times, man, like we come in with our own, a lot of people come in with their own preconceived, ideas about how they should approach what you should be telling them. But like, man, like, they shut that down, bro. They gonna reject it. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like, look, bro, I'm really just coming with love. You know what I'm saying? I just want you to live.
And how do they take to that? Like, after, they listen to you and then, you come like that.
I mean, they really always, man, I'm like the most requested dude up at the juvenile, man. That lady calls, like, they all say, like, look, I want to talk to the brother that so-and-so talked to. I want to talk to him. Like I say, it's just something real, man. Like, I've been where they been. You know, I went through the juvenile system. I've been in and out, you know, and they can just tell like, okay, this is something different.
That's powerful. Nothing to see like some that, you know, represent what you know, that they far past what you know, they where you would like to be. You may can't see it like you say, but you can see something, so they connect with you.
Right.
Well, this is another question for you. How do you want to be remembered, and what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Oh man, you know, at the end of the day, man, I just, you know, I want to be remembered as somebody that showed, you know, the capacity for change that's inherent in everybody. Like I showed, like there can, you know, not to write anybody off, because anybody can figure it out one day. And you know, like I said, as far as the legacy, man, I just want, you know, when I'm gone, I want it where when my kids say my name, say who their daddy is, man, it just that alone open the door and open opportunities for them. You know, because that will mean that I did leave a good name behind.
Okay. Are there specific industries or causes you're passionate about now that you wish to explore further?
You know, I just went to a seminar up in Cleveland, like a Black Tech and Creative seminar, and I watched this presentation. A lady had a discussion about, you know, Black AI, and you know how 81% of the people who design in artificial intelligence are white men, so they're transferring a lot of their biases to the artificial intelligence world. So, you know, my thing is I'm really big on equity in this new, you know, this new world, like this new, how do we bring equity? Because equity is you made whole. That's when there's equity. You know, diversity and inclusion, okay, I can just hire somebody Black and I've diversified, or I include them in this process and that's diversified. But it's not equity if you hire me and I'm still dealing with microaggressions or wage disparities, so you still haven't made me whole. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity, because you do got this new frontier. Maybe we can get in that, and the equity will manifest in that world. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited about that.
Okay, cool. Is there anything you'd like to share with the bros incarcerated who may be listening?
One thing, man, do the self-work, man, because, you know, a lot of times, man, we get in there, we read them books, we present, we kind of like construct the image, but when you get out here, man, the devil gonna present what your heart desire, man. And so, you know, you might as well get all that, purge all that while you in there, and then, because it's gonna come out here, because it ain't no restraint out here. So do the self-work, man. You know, hold that mirror up, man. Take a bird's eye view of your life, you know what I'm saying? Because when you use that time, man, a certain way, man, you get out here, you pretty much unstoppable, man. Like I said, man, brothers always amazed at how I move out here, and I'm just like, I was in there doing the work. I was preparing for this. And so, but most importantly, what was more important than the books and the information was the self-work. That was what was important, because without that, you're not going to be able to execute nothing anyway. So, man, use that time, man. Like, man, you can use that time and build up enough momentum within yourself that you're unstoppable when you get out here.
Well, to another question to like a guy that's, you know, we say 5 years before release, what would, you know, he woke up now. You know, he did 20, but he woke up now. What would be the first step you would say he would take, you know, within here?
Look at any resource they got. I used to look at what they offer in there and how does it apply to the street? Like, I got my associate's degree in there. Didn't know how I was going to use it out here, but now I'm doing mental health trainings and I'm able to go higher up in that field because I got my associate's degree. You know what I mean? So, you know, whatever credentials you can get a hold of in there, use it, man, because they're using you. So use them for whatever resources they got, man, because you never know when you get out here what door that resource may open.
Okay, I'll be sure to pass that along, man. I can't lie, man. This was in the making of this project, them Streetz podcast, Voices of the Underworld. When I thought about it, I said, man, you was gonna be the first guest if you was willing to come on. And so, man, you just don't understand. I definitely appreciate you taking the time out to come speak to us, speak to me, speak to us.
Oh man, it's an honor, bro. Yeah, it's an honor, man. Like, this really, like I said, man, I'm always, honored, man, to do something that's, authentic, man. And like, being the first guest, man, what can I say, man? I'll always be the first guest. You know what I'm saying? Like this locked in. I'm always be number one. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
so
for sure, it's always best to be the first. Well, in closing, man, as we close here, man, how can the people reach you? Platforms, etc. How they reach you?
Man, they can go visit my website, nonstopgrowth.org. Nonstop Growth on Instagram, Marcel McDaniel on LinkedIn. October 19th at City of Joy Enrichment Center, I will be doing a presentation. We having a safety open house with me and the Freedom Block, because I am their Freedom Block safety organizer, and I will be doing a presentation about what community violence interruption looks like. So I definitely encourage people to come out. October 24th, I will be in Tallahassee, Florida at Florida A&M University. We'll be screening the documentary, My Life, and doing a panel discussion, me and John Morgan, who made the documentary from Live Your Purpose Media. So, like I say, man, that's what's next coming down the pipeline. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, always, hey, tap in with me. It's always something cooking, man. So tap in.
Okay, well, listen, man, we appreciate you, and this has been Streetz Podcast, Voices of the Underworld. To the next time.
Thank you for using GTL.